everyone, and welcome back to my channel. If you're new here, don't forget to subscribe and you can keep up with all my future videos. And today I wanted to talk about my month-end bookkeeping. Now I put a picture on Instagram, and if you're not following me there, be sure to do that. It's simply_RS, and I'll put a link down below. I asked if anyone would be interested in how I do my month-end bookkeeping, and an overwhelming amount of people said yes. So that's what I'm going to be going over today. So if you didn't watch any of my last videos, I have created a bullet journal, and I actually made a month-end page, and here's all my month-end tasks, and this is just to hold me accountable and so that I can be sure that I've done every single one of these things. Now my goal for 2019 is to do every one of these things, and that's why I did this, because I had these ideas in 2018 but I just didn't write them down, and therefore I didn't do most of them. So let's just get started. My first one is to pull sales reports from eBay, Poshmark, Mercari, and Kidizen. Those are the ones that I sell on. If you're not familiar with Kidizen, it's kids clothing. I don't make many sales on there. I make 1 or 2 a month, but I mean that's better than nothing. So eBay and Poshmark have sales reports, and I actually made a video about how to get them, and I'll link that down below or above or wherever it goes. And Poshmark is pretty easy. I made a video for that too, I think. So you just pull those reports and I just stick them in Excel. And Mercari and Kidizen, since I don't sell as much on there, I just input them by hand. So that's my first step. My second step is to pull eBay fees, PayPal fees, and shipping fees reports. Those are included in the video about how to get the eBay sales report. So if you aren't familiar with those, I would highly recommend finding them. So then you don't have to figure out every single thing by hand. It saved me so much time, and you don't even have to do anything. They're right in PayPal, and it's just a great report to have and to know how to get to. So eBay fees, PayPal fees, and shipping reports is what I get. The next thing I do is update my cost of goods spreadsheet in Excel. I do everything I'm talking about in the same spreadsheet, just so that it's easier for me to see. And I copied from November to December, and then I just changed the numbers for the spreadsheet. The cost of goods spreadsheet, I actually learned it from a YouTube video. If I can find that video, I'll link it down below, because it like calculates it itself. That way you don't have to keep doing the average and pulling all the different numbers that you have. You literally just input your things and input how many you've sold, and it calculates it for you. And this way then you can just use the the weighted average cost of goods sold or something like that, and then you don't have to think about it, and this is just what your cost of goods was. So if you sold 300 or 100 items and you paid an average of $3 for each item, that comes out to 300 items cost of goods sold, and you can deduct that from your sales. So next thing I do is I calculate my monthly profit. I do that by, if you haven't taken an accounting class, it's just pretty easy. You take your sales minus your fees minus your cost of goods sold minus your expenses and that sort of thing, and you come out with net profit. And that is the next step I do. It's not the last step because I have a few more steps. Next step is to calculate money for consignment customers and pay them, in capital letters, pay them. So how I calculate that, I have 3 consignment customers, and this isn't like professional or anything, it's just kind of friends. It was someone I worked with, an older lady who sells purses, my boss, things like that. So I figure out my net profit, and then I have a separate spreadsheet for what has sold of theirs, and I do the same thing on that I just figure out the net profit, and then I get 25% and they get 75%. So I just multiply the net profit by 25% and multiply it again by 75%, and the one cut is mine and the one cut is theirs. So the 75% will come right out of my net profit. So the 25% stays in there because that is actually what I have made. So I do this for 3 different customers. So it's net profit minus customer 1, minus customer 2, minus customer 3, and that is what I have truly made for the month. And I capitalize pay them because I would like to keep giving them money every month as I sell things. Now sometimes it's only a few dollars, and I have a little leeway there with myself. I don't have to give that to them because it's just a few bucks. But sometimes it's a lot, and I just need to remember and force myself to pay them, to write them a check, to mail it to them, whatever I have to do to get that money out of my account and to them, so that it's not looking like it's mine. I don't know if anyone else does that, but if I have money in my account, I automatically calculate it in my head that it's my money, and it's really not my money. So I need to make an effort to take that money and give it to them. Now the next one is where a new part comes in, and I just made this decision a few days ago before 2019. I'm really going to try to stick with it. I might tweak it a little bit because I haven't tried it yet, and if it doesn't work out for me, I'm going to tweak it. So it's transfer balance from PayPal, Poshmark, and Mercari to my bank account. I have a separate bank account for my business and a separate one for my personal. I've done this a long time ago, and I recommend you do it just so you can see what's coming out, and then when you source, you have an extra credit card for that sourcing. And that way, at least personally for me, it makes me feel better knowing that I'm not spending my own money to do that. So it works out for me that way. So my goal is to transfer all my Poshmark balance and all my Mercari balance, because I have a tendency to let it sit. Like Mercari, I don't think I've cashed out in over a year. And I need to do that every month so that it comes down to zero, besides the pending balance, of course. And Poshmark, I want to do that. And PayPal, I'm going to do that everything but $1,000. And I'm going to leave $1,000 in there to cover eBay fees, to cover small personal purchases I make with PayPal, and just extra just in case. I know PayPal pulls some things out and I miss it sometimes, like eBay and things like that. So I'm going to leave $1,000 in there, but everything else I want to put to my business bank account. And the last step I have for now, I might add some more depending on what I need to do at the end of the month, like inventory type things and stuff like that. But for now, this is all I have. So the last and final one is transfer monthly net profit to personal bank account. So I decided that I was going to do a percentage of my net profit and transfer it to my personal bank account as a paycheck of sorts. But then I thought, well, that's going to leave a whole bunch of money in my business account, because I deducted the cost of goods sold to get my net profit, but I don't actually have to pay my cost of goods sold because I already paid it earlier when I bought the item. So I'm going to transfer 100% of my net profit to my personal bank account, and that's going to be my paycheck. So and then that'll leave my cost of goods money that I deducted but didn't really spend it'll be in my it'll be in my business bank account, and I can use that for sourcing, if that makes sense. So I made $1,000 net profit, but I added $200 cost of goods sold, so therefore I actually made $1,200. So I'll transfer $1,000 into my personal account, and then I'll have $200 in there for sourcing. So that's the plan so far, because I don't have any other expenses. This isn't my only stream of income, so this isn't going to be used for bills or anything like that. So I'm going to transfer it to I haven't decided if I'm going to transfer it to my checking account or my savings account. I'll probably end up transferring it to my savings account, but I don't really use this money for anything else besides saving and sourcing. So 100% is what I'm going to do now. I might in the future put a percentage in investments and things like that, like mutual funds or something, but I'm waiting to figure all that out until I figure out what my net income per week or what my paycheck per week is actually going to be. So for now, it's just going to be 100%. I'm going to put it in there and see if that works for me. I'm curious what you do if you give yourself a paycheck, or if it just kind of gets muddied in with your your like personal money. So let me know down in the comments, because I'm just kind of going blindly through this. I don't know what other people do at all. So I'm just going to see if this works for me and go from there. So if you like this video, please don't forget to give it a thumbs up, and don't forget to subscribe for future videos. Thanks for watching.